to all of you. Am I audible? Good morning, good morning. Am I audible? Right? Okay. So in last class, we discussed about Bengal state. I think you are familiar with Bengal, why Bengal is important. And historians also say that the key for the key to conquer India was Bengal. And British were successful in finding that key, but the other European groups did not do this. Okay, so Britain is the country, or you can say that East India Company is the company which first realized the economic significance of Bengal. Okay, and the events that were taking place in Bengal, what we see is that, okay, two things are simultaneous. I hope now you can easily relate this. The events that took place in Bengal in 1750s and 1760s. What are the important events here? One is, okay, Black Hole Tragedy, Treaty of Alinagar, right? Then Battle of Palasi, which was fought on 23rd June 1757. And then when you enter into 60s, you will find Battle of Buxar, that was fought on 27 October 1764. Okay. Another important event is Treaty of Allahabad, that was signed in 1765. And the next most important event is dual system of governance in Bengal that continued for 7 years, that is from 1765 to 1772. So what happened? These all events show the drain of wealth from India, economic loot of India. Okay, economic resources were looted from India. Now, one thing. The another event that is simultaneous is what? An important event of 18th century. That is also a syllabus in world history, and that is what? Industrial Revolution. This was one of the most significant event of 18th century, Industrial Revolution. And this Industrial Revolution started first in which country? Britain. And it started when? 1760s. Here, Industrial Revolution started. And India was a colony of Britain. So, Great Britain, okay, did it make efforts to industrialize India? The answer will be yes or no. No. Great Britain will not make any effort to industrialize India, because industrialization will do what? India was a good competitor, so this industrialization will be able to eliminate the competition. So Great Britain will not promote industrialization. Instead, what Great Britain will do? Great Britain will try to fulfill its industrial needs from India. So this is the time period 1760s, when industrial revolution started in Britain. And for Great Britain, India was what? A classic colony. I have already told you that India was a classic colony. And here, the East India Company is doing what? East India Company is serving the role of a mediator, because we already have established this fact, we already have discussed this fact, that there was a clear relation between East India Company and the metropole, right? There was a clear relation. So Great Britain cannot deny. So there was clear linkages or clear relation between, okay, Great Britain and East India Company. So through East India Company, what Britain was doing? Great Britain was trying to fulfill its industrial needs. Great Britain was trying to fulfill its industrial needs. What could be the industrial needs here? So there could be two types of industrial needs. Okay, first is what? Okay, you need what? First, I have already discussed with you exactly that industrial revolution in initial phase was what? Textile revolution. So you need what? Raw cotton, jute, silk. You all need this now. So it means that now Britain will do what? Since industrial revolution in its initial phase was a textile revolution, so Britain will try to get more and more raw materials from India, more and more raw materials from India. Okay, so this will be the effort of Britain, that getting more and more raw materials from India. Now, when they will, it means they are importing raw materials. So they will also try to get these raw materials at the cheaper prices. Okay, since they are the kingmakers, so they can easily establish monopolistic control over the market, and they can easily force the local merchants or the peasants to sell their raw materials at arbitrary prices, the prices which are fixed and dictated by the EIC official. Got it? So they were successful in getting what? They were successful in getting the raw materials at the cheaper prices from Bengal. Cheaper prices. Now there was no one to stop them. They were getting raw material at the cheaper prices. The prices which they are dictating. They can easily get raw materials on these prices. They can easily get raw materials on these. Got it? Okay. Now one more thing. Now another important thing is that, okay, since they are the kingmakers, they are doing what? Unrestricted trade and commerce. Since they are the kingmakers, and they are doing what? Unrestricted trade and commerce. They are the kingmakers, and there is no one to stop them. Kingmakers, there is no one to stop them. So they did what? They also established monopolistic control on the market. They will also establish what? Monopolistic control over the market. This will happen. EIC will establish monopolistic control over the market. Right? Now, the next and the most important thing. Now they have got Diwani rights by this Treaty of Allahabad. They are getting land revenues. Okay, who is collecting? East India Company is collecting. Now, where revenue should be spent? What is your opinion? Where these revenues should be spent? In maintaining Nizamat affairs, other administrative works, government taxes and revenues from us, but that is spent on the welfare of people. But what East India Company will do? They are collecting taxes. They have got the rights to collect revenue. Here, 26 lakh rupees they are giving to Mughal emperor, and remaining money what they are doing? Instead of spending it on the administrative affairs, they are using the same revenue for the purchases of raw materials from India. It means they are getting raw materials what? Free of cost. Are you relating the things? From 1765, the 1765 by Treaty of Allahabad, they got Diwani rights. We all know this, that 1765 through this Treaty of Allahabad, we already have discussed this, that 1765 through this Treaty of Allahabad, East India Company got Diwani rights. East India Company got Diwani rights. Diwani rights means right to collect land revenues. They got Diwani rights. They got the right to collect land revenues. And they are doing what? They are utilizing this revenue for the welfare of Indian people, or they are doing misappropriation of revenue. Misappropriation means जहाँ खर्च करना है उससे अलग कहीं और करना. So they are not using this revenue to ensure the welfare of Indian people. They are doing what? Misappropriation of revenue. They are doing what? They are doing misappropriation of revenue. Misappropriation of revenue means spending revenue not where it is to be spent. Okay, spending it to fulfill their own needs. That is all called misappropriation of revenue. And where they are spending this revenue? So there are two areas where they will spend this revenue. Area 1 and Area 2. There are two areas where EIC will spend this revenue. First, okay, to make purchases of raw materials. Okay, so first area is what? They are making purchases of raw materials. So this is the first point. To make purchases of raw materials, they are doing this with this revenue. Okay, raw materials purchase कर रहे हैं, and they are using the word investment for this. कौन सा word use कर रहे हैं? Investment. And factory, they are using the word for warehouses, godowns. Factories are not production units. Okay, colonial historians have used this word, and they are using the word investments for these purposes. This word was used. देखो कितना बेवकूफ बनाया हम इंडियंस को. They are using this word investment. Factory, न investment है न ये factory है, right? They are using the word investment. It means by these investment they are getting raw materials. free of cost. So that is the most important point, that in this way they are getting revenue free of cost. They are getting revenue free of cost. They are getting raw materials, sorry, they are getting raw materials free of cost. They are getting raw materials free of cost. Now I am making a statement here. I am just reading a statement that Battle of Palasi, the victory in the Battle of Palasi was very much significant because it also helped in the promotion of industrial revolution in Britain. Do you understand the context? Okay, this all started with victory of Palasi, and that's why 23rd June 1757 is important, right? Karl Marx writes that India was bleeding and industrial revolution in Britain was becoming successful. Do you understand the context? India was bleeding and industrial revolution in Britain was becoming successful. So who paid the prices for industrial revolution in Britain? We Indians paid the prices. We made industrial revolution in Britain successful. So that is one of the most important points. So you can write here that India was bleeding. India was bleeding and industrial revolution in Britain was becoming successful. India was bleeding and industrial revolution in Britain was becoming successful. India was bleeding and industrial revolution in Britain was becoming successful. Okay. Write one more point, that India paid the price for the success of industrial revolution in Britain. India or the Indians paid the price for the success of industrial revolution in Britain. We Indians paid the price for the success of industrial revolution in Britain. Is it clear? आसान है. Now when we'll discuss industrial revolution in world history topic, again we will correlate the things. ठीक है ना? So in this way we have to correlate. And what could be the second area where they are spending the money? Any one of you? Can you suggest me the point? Second area where they are spending? Exactly, expansion of British rule in India. Bengal is what? Beginning. Bengal क्या है? शुरुआत है, first step. Now they will do what? They will expand British rule in other territories. So they will do what? They will fight wars with other rulers. For example, Mysore topic I will discuss with you today. And first Anglo-Mysore war was fought in 1767 to 1769. 1767 कब है? बक्सर के बाद है, ट्रीटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद के बाद है, 1767 to 1769. तो they will use fund for the military expenses. वो पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? Revenue से आएगा. It means they are not bringing their money to fight wars in India. They are using the money of Indian people to fight and finance wars in India. Okay. So second area, write this. The revenue will also be utilized for the expansion of British rule in India. This revenue will also be utilized for the expansion of British rule in India. इंडिया में ब्रिटिश रूल के एक्सपेंशन में भी ये रेवेन्यू खर्च किया जाएगा. विल बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर द एक्सपेंशन ऑफ ब्रिटिश रूल इन इंडिया. गॉट इट? एक्सपेंशन में खर्च होगा. तो एक क्या हो गया? एस्टैब्लिशमेंट. दूसरा क्या हो गया? एक्सपेंशन. व्हाई वी आर सेइंग एक्सपेंशन? बिकॉज wars will be fought for this purpose. Military wars with the local rulers will be fought, and this will incur what? Military expenses. Okay, military wars will be fought with the local rulers. This will incur military expenses, and these expenses will be fulfilled from the revenues that are generated from India. So do you think that they will give relaxations of revenue to the Indian people? Never. They will focus on collecting more and more. Okay, so later we will discuss the revenue topic, and this entire theme will again be discussed in the topic economic policies of British in India and their impact on Indian people. When I will discuss, I will again correlate this theme with the land revenue policies, terrain of wealth, and there are so many topics, right? Now when we were discussing Battle of Buxar, there was a very prominent state, Awadh. I told you that Awadh was a very powerful state. So Awadh was also an important state in 18th century. So we are familiar with Bengal now. So we must be familiar with Awadh also. Awadh के साथ भी familiar होना चाहिए. So now next topic is Awadh. ठीक है. देखो, why when I taught you Bengal, so this topic I have connected a lot of things, and that is the beauty of the foundation courses. Okay, I am recording separate videos on Bengal also, but you will not find that magic in those videos. ठीक है, क्योंकि वहां पे इतना ज़्यादा कनेक्टिंग लिंकेजेस के साथ मैं नहीं पढ़ा पाऊंगा. मेरी बात समझ गया ना. क्लास में क्या होता है, चूंकि हमें पता है कि वी आर गोइंग टू कंटिन्यू फॉर 35 क्लासेस और 40 क्लासेस, दैट्स वाई वी आर एबल टू डू दिस. ठीक है ना. सो इन इंडिविजुअल वीडियोज, ओके, दीज थिंग्स आर नॉट पॉसिबल. ठीक है. सो दैट्स वाई, एंड दिस इज द डिमांड ऑफ यूपीएससी. यही तो डिमांड है. ठीक है, कि जितना ज़्यादा कोरिलेट कर सके. नाउ अवध, द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, राइट दिस अवध. आई विल डिस्कस विथ यू अवध. So before Awadh is an important state, again regional state in 18th century. Regional state in 18th century. Okay. Awadh was also a part of the Mughal province. Okay. Do you remember Karnataka? In the same way, Hyderabad, in the same way, Awadh state was also a part of Mughal Empire. Awadh was a part of Mughal Empire. Awadh क्या था? Mughal Empire का part था, right? And the ruler of Awadh was Nizam. The ruler was called Nizam. And this ruler was appointed by Mughal emperor. This ruler was appointed by Mughal emperor. This ruler was appointed by Mughal emperor. That's why we are saying that Awadh was a part of Mughal province, right? It means if Awadh's ruler will have to fight a war, he will have to take permission of Mughal emperor. If he will have to conclude a treaty, he will have to take permission of Mughal emperor. If he had to appoint his successor, he will also have to take permission of Mughal emperor. मेरी बात समझ गया? हर चीज में किसकी परमिशन चाहिए? मुगल एम्परर की. If you want to bring some changes in your economic policy, in your revenue system of administration, you will again need the permission of Mughal emperor. फिर से मुगल एम्परर का परमिशन चाहिए. And that is the meaning of, okay, this thing, that Awadh was a part of Mughal province. But situations will change in 1722. Situations will change in 1722. Now, before I discuss this event of 1722, I will ask you a very simple question, that who was the Mughal emperor during this time period? In 1722, who was the Mughal emperor? Guess karo. Exactly. The same Rangila. Rangila ने बेड़ा गर्क कर दिया. 1719 to 1748. This is Muhammad Shah Rangila. He was the Mughal ruler. मोहम्मद शाह, द नेम वाज मोहम्मद शाह, लेकिन इसके कारनामों की वजह से ही वाज नोन एज रंगीला, राइट? मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला, 1719 टू 1748. नाउ अवध एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट वाज फाउंडेड इन विच ईयर? 1722. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. तो देखो, व्हेन देयर विल बी वीकर रूलर, व्हाट विल हैपन? हिज कंट्रोल, his authority over the regional states, he will start losing that control and authority. कमजोर शासक कहाँ नियंत्रण बना पाएगा? ये पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो इन केस ऑफ वीकर मुगल रूलर्स, व्हाट विल हैपन? he will start losing his control and authority. And the same is happening here. What we see is that in 1722 Awadh was established as an independent Raj, independent state by, okay, what was the name of the founder? This is also important for your prelims exam. That is Saadat Khan. The title was Burhan ul Mulk. Okay, so this is a very important prelims question. Write this: Saadat Khan, Burhan ul Mulk. Saadat Khan, this is sufficient enough, but his title was Burhan ul Mulk. So he is also known as Saadat Khan Burhanul Mulk. Saadat Khan Burhanul Mulk. What is the meaning of this? When we say that Awadh was Okay, the meaning of this point that Sadat Khan Burhanul Mulk was the founder of Awadh state. The context is that Sadat Khan started ruling in an independent manner, right? It means that now if he had to wage a war, if he had to conclude a policy, or if he had to, okay, you can say that introduce a new policy in the state, he will not take permission of Mughal emperor. So he started ruling in an independent manner from 1722. Okay, so that is the important point. That's why we say that in 1722, Awadh was established as an independent state. Here Sadat Khan started ruling and in an independent manner. But at the same time, he was also one of the supreme military commander in chief of the Mughal emperor. This was also there. Okay, he was also the supreme. At the same time, he was also the supreme military commander in chief of Mughal emperor Muhammad Shah Rangila. Right? He was also the supreme commander in chief, but he was ruling his state in an independent manner. This happened. Okay, now another important fact. Akash, are you asking any question? Yes, please ask. Titles, for example, for Bengal we use the word Nawab. Awadh, Hyderabad, we use the word Nizam. Okay, there is technical difference between Badshah and Sultan, but here these are conventions. ठीक है ना? Right? Actually, these all these words have one meaning. Nizam, Nawab, it means that's a kind of nobility class, right? And these were the part of Mughal nobility class which later emerged as independent rulers or the regional state. ठीक है? ऐसी चीज. Now, he was also supreme military commander in chief. Now, there was also a very important event during this period. Do you remember the year 1739? What happened in this year? 1739. 1739 में क्या हुआ था? There is an important event in 1739. What is that event in history? That is also a very important event in 18th century. देखो, invasions in 18th century. One famous invasion is invasion of Nadir Shah in 1739. Nadir Shah was an Iranian invader. And the another famous invasion is invasion of Ahmad Shah Abdali. Ahmad Shah Abdali was Afghani adventurer, Afghani invader. ठीक है? So Ahmad Shah Abdali first invaded in 1748. तब तक तो मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला का काम खत्म है, right? Nadir Shah invaded in 1739. That is the most important point. Nadir Shah invaded in 1739. Okay, and there was a very famous battle that is known as Battle of in 1739. A very famous battle was fought, and that battle was known as Battle of Karnal. Battle of Karnal. Battle of Karnal, it's also called Battle of Karnal or Battle of Karnal, right? It was fought in 1739, and it was fought between Muhammad Shah Rangila, he was the Mughal emperor. It was fought between Muhammad Shah Rangila and Persian invader or adventurer Nadir Shah. Persian invader or adventurer Nadir Shah. ये बैटल किसके किसके बीच में हुआ? मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला and Nadir Shah. Mark it important. This can be asked in your exam. This battle is important. Battle of Karnal. It was fought between Muhammad Shah Rangila and Nadir Shah. Now, who will get victory in this battle? So obviously, Nadir Shah will get victory in this battle. Who was defeated? Muhammad Shah Rangila was defeated. But who was fighting for Muhammad Shah Rangila? So one of his supreme military commander in chief, this Sadat Khan, right, was fighting for Muhammad Shah Rangila. He was fighting for Muhammad Shah Rangila. Sadat Khan was fighting for Muhammad Shah Rangila. ये मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला के लिए फाइट कर रहा था. He was imprisoned by Nadir Shah. ठीक है, नादिर शाह ने क्या किया? Since Muhammad Shah Rangila defeated, so this Sadat Khan was imprisoned by Nadir Shah. Saadat Khan was imprisoned by Nadir Shah. ठीक है, Nadir Shah. And after this, there are many stories about what I am going to discuss with you. One story says that, okay, what happened that Saadat Khan was in captivity of Nadir Shah. Okay, and suddenly he got some news that Mughal emperor has appointed someone else as the wazir and commander in chief, like these kind of things. Now he will just be concerned that if I have been arrested for your cause, okay, and if I am in this situation, it is due to Mughal emperor, but Mughal emperor is doing what? Is opting for someone else instead of me. So this is all conflict of power. इतनी सी बात है. It means that he was dissatisfied. Saadat Khan was dissatisfied. Then Saadat Khan informed Nadir Shah, यहाँ पे छापा मारोगे तो इतना पैसा मिलेगा. ठीक है, जैसे CBI और ED को लोग इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं. And Nadir Shah, okay, did the same, but he did not recover the money. Now he will ask Saadat Khan, you told me that I will get 20 crore rupees. I have not got a single penny. Now you will give me 20 crore rupees. वो तो पैसा लूटने ही आया था, आपने इंफॉर्मेशन दी, पैसा नहीं मिला, फिर वो किसके पीछे पड़ गया? सादत खां के पीछे पड़ गया. You will give me 20 crore rupees. Now Saadat Khan, okay, was very tensed. Still he will pay him some money, but he will not be able to fulfill all his demand. Okay. Now what Nadir Shah will do? Nadir Shah was an invader. So there is a historian. The name of that person is Muhammad Mushin. He wrote a book Zohar-e Shamsham. तो लिखना नहीं है, ये एग्जाम में बिल्कुल नहीं पूछा जाएगा. In that book he writes an account that Nadir Shah insulted Saadat Khan. Insult किया. Okay. Even he did what? He spat on the face of Saadat Khan. वो लिखते हैं इसको. And the another historian, Michael Edwards, confirmed this fact. ठीक है, but ये fiction भी हो सकता है. This might be possible. But Saadat Khan felt humiliated and he did what? He committed suicide by taking poison. This is the story of the founder of Awadh. This story is true. That he committed suicide. ये बात तो सही है. ठीक है, अब बीच की कहानी क्या थी, इसके कुछ भी मायने हो सकते हैं. So how he died? How Saadat Khan died? So Saadat Khan committed suicide. Saadat Khan committed suicide in the same year 1739 में ही सादत खां की डेथ हो जाती है. Got it? He was the founder of Awadh. Now his nephew and son-in-law, right? The name of that person, nephew and son-in-law, will come to power. That is Safdar Jung. वो बहुत फेमस है अवध के हिस्ट्री में. सफदर जंग सबसे पॉपुलर नवाब है, निजाम है. ठीक है ना, सफदर जंग. Now what will happen? Saadat Khan's son or nephew, Saadat Khan's son, sorry, not son, sorry, nephew and son-in-law both, Safdar Jung become the ruler. Safdar Jung become the ruler of Awadh. और ये टाइम जो है, when Saadat Khan founded Awadh state, the capital was फैजाबाद, जो अब क्या हो चुका है? फैजाबाद का नया नाम क्या है, बताओ? Safdar. Exactly. When Safdar Jung became the ruler, the capital again was Faizabad. अभी भी capital क्या था? फैजाबाद था. ठीक है. And this person was an able and efficient ruler. But when he will become ruler, what will happen? Nadir Shah was there in India. 1739 में ही ये ruler बनता भी है. So Nadir Shah will take money from Safdar Jung. ठीक है, he will also take money from Safdar Jung. Then he will validate Safdar Jung as a ruler. Now look at the situation that due to the lack of political unity among the regional powers, what is happening? An invader is coming to India. He is invading our money. An invader is able to defeat the central Mughal authority. And he is also validating the regional rulers by taking ransom. 2 crore रुपए दो, तब मैं तुमको validate करूंगा. Safdar Jung paid money. Okay. And what will happen after this? He will start ruling, and he is known as a very good and efficient Nizam. Okay, he did what? He also he maintained the administration of Awadh on well and efficient lines, right? The people were happy in the state of Awadh. Okay, he was a person of high morality, of high standard. Okay, this is the story. Now after Safdar who will become the next ruler here? So the name is Suzaud-Dawla. इससे आप familiar हो? Suzaud-Dawla. Are you familiar with this name? Suzaud-Dawla. This name we have already discussed. Suzaud-Dawla. Okay. So after Safdar basically ये years याद नहीं रखने हैं आपको. I am just writing so that you could connect the things. ठीक है ना? सारे dates नहीं याद रखने हैं. 1739 to 1754. Who is the ruler? Safdar Jung. ठीक है? This year is not to remember, only to connect the things. Now Suzaud-Dawla becomes the ruler in 1754. ये भी नहीं रट्टा मारना है. Suzaud-Dawla was the ruler till this year 1775. But इसके बीच में क्या हुआ है? What is the most important event here? That we need to know. Exactly, Battle of Buxar. It was fought in which year? 1764. फिर अवध के साथ क्या हुआ है? Treaty of Allahabad. It was signed in which year? 1765. तो Suzaud-Dawla was the ruler. अच्छा, Treaty of Allahabad के बाद क्या हुआ? अवध became a buffer state, a friendly state, buffer state and friendly state. We all know this. इसके बाद अवध क्या हो गया? अवध was a buffer state and friendly state. It will be a buffer state and friendly state from 1765 till 1801. We all know this. It was a buffer state or friendly state. In 1801, which treaty was signed with Awadh? Treaty of Subsidiary Alliance. ठीक है, हम आराम से पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है, क्लास की चीज़ों को क्लास में याद करो, बाकी टाइम आप पॉलिटी इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ो, वो भी मैं रिवाइज करवा दूंगा. ठीक है, आप ख़त्म कर लो फॉर प्रिलिम्स. आई विल डू डिस्कशंस और आपकी थीम्स रिवाइज हो जाएंगी. तो 1801 व्हाट वी सी, सब्सिडियरी अलायंस वाज साइंड हियर इन 1801, सब्सिडियरी अलायंस. और फिर इसके बाद क्या हुआ? इन 1856 व्हाट हैपेंड? डू यू रिमेंबर? सॉरी, एग्जैक्टली, डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ, no sorry, on the pretext of misgovernance, Awadh was annexed to British Empire. This happened. Now there is one more ruler here, important ruler, that is Asaf-ud-Daula. So Suzaud-Daula के बाद the next ruler is Asaf-ud-Daula. 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 And why I am discussing Asaf-ud-Daula? There is a reason. Okay, he becomes the ruler in 1775 and he transferred the capital फ्रॉम फैजाबाद टू लखनऊ. अवध का कैपिटल कहाँ लेके आया? लखनऊ लेके आया. ठीक है, लखनऊ में वो जो नवाबों की संस्कृति है, नवाबों का शहर है, द कल्चर ऑफ नवाब्स किसके टाइम में डेवलप होता है? आसफुद्दौला के टाइम में. ही पैटर्नाइज्ड कल्चर, राइट. ही हिमसेल्फ वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टेड in poetry, in other cultural forms, art. He himself was a very, you can say that, much ahead in philanthropist activities. ठीक है, so Awadh became the center of culture. Lucknow became the center of culture during Asaf-ud-Daula. ठीक है, and he was always helpful for the other people, and that's why there was a very famous saying about Asaf-ud-Daula, जो बहुत ही पॉपुलर लाइन है. वो ये है कि जिसको न दे मौला, मौला का मतलब क्या होता है? गॉड. जिसको न दे मौला उसको दे आसफुद्दौला. ठीक है, so it's famous line for Asaf-ud-Daula. So Lucknow became the center of cultural activities at the time of Asaf-ud-Daula, right? Now I hope this information is important. Now what we have discussed, the rulers of Bengal, Nawabs, were able and efficient rulers or not? Yes or no? Yes, they were able and efficient rulers. The ruler of Awadh is able and efficient ruler or not? Yes. But the colonial historians will write that 18th century में जितने भी native rulers थे सब बेवकूफ थे, right? They were not having the understanding of how to handle the administration. They were knowing nothing about the revenue system of administration. It means they wanted to demean India, our cultural achievements, so that they could portray this thing that 18th century was a dark age. तभी तो एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे that 23rd June 1757 what started? Modern age started. ठीक है, अच्छा बताओ, मुगल रूल के बाद क्या आया? ब्रिटिश रूल, राइट. एंड टुडे आल्सो वी आर ट्रैप्ड इन व्हाट? हिंदू मुस्लिम डिबेट. ब्रिटिश को लेके कोई चर्चा करता है क्या? नहीं. हिस्ट्री राइटिंग का ये इंपॉर्टेंस होता है. ब्रिटिश एक्सप्लॉइटेड आवर कंट्री. They ruled for, okay, more than 200 years, right? But still no one discusses about that, right? So obviously they will try to narrate that when British came to India, all important political developments, economic developments, social and cultural developments took place. Before this, India was in a state of dark ages. But here we are just trying to learn what counter argument अगेंस्ट द थियरी ऑफ डार्क एजेस कि नहीं भाई हमारे रूलर इतने बेवकूफ भी नहीं थे. सो वी आर जस्ट मेकिंग व्हाट काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स अगेंस्ट दिस theory of dark ages. Now we will discuss another state that is a very famous state, that is Mysore. Okay, right. Mysore state. Mysore state. Generally, all this topic, India in 18th century, it is taught in one or two lectures in the classes. But I think that it should not be done. Until you don't understand India in 18th century, you will never be connected with the themes of modern Indian history. तो ये टॉपिक तो बहुत ही डिटेल में हमें पढ़ना ही चाहिए. Now we are going to discuss the next state, that is Mysore state. Yes, please. लखनऊ. हाँ, लखनऊ became the center of cultural activities. नवाबों का शहर आशफुद्दौला के टाइम से ही कहा जाता है, right? So before starting this discussion of Mysore state, okay, let us take help of some maps so that we can learn better. Okay, so this is the map here. Are you getting the map on the screen? PPT slides on the screen. Now look at this map. What you see, this in this peninsular India, we all have discussed it in AMC, ancient medieval culture, that when Muhammad bin Tughlaq was ruling, due to the policies of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, a new state came into existence, and that was the, okay, Hindu empire in South India, and that was Vijayanagar state. In which year it came into existence? So it came into existence in the year 1336. And who were the founder? So the founder of Vijayanagar state were Harihar and Bukka. So this state came into existence in 1336 AD, and the founder were Harihar and Bukka. This is the discussion of AMC, ancient medieval culture. Those who have not discussed this right now, so वर्ल्ड के बाद हम इसी सेगमेंट को स्टार्ट करेंगे एमसी. नाउ द डिक्लाइन ऑफ विजयनगर एम्पायर स्टार्टेड आफ्टर 1565 AD. 1565 इज विच सेंचुरी? 16th century. रिलेट करो पॉइंट्स. 1336 AD is which century? 14th century. Who was ruling at this time? In 14th century, who was ruling at this time? There was the rule of Delhi Sultanate, and in Delhi Sultanate who was ruling? मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक वॉज रूलिंग. ठीक है, जिन्होंने मिडिवल नहीं पढ़ा है बाद में पढ़ लेंगे इसको. मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक वॉज रूलिंग. एंड व्हाट वाज द टाइम पीरियड ऑफ मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक रूल? किसी को याद है जो एकदम तुरंत बताए? एनीवन ऑफ यू? 1325 to 1351. That was the time period of MBT's rule. 1325 to 1351. Now tell me, विजयनगर स्टेट वॉज स्टैब्लिश इन विच ईयर? 1336. तो ये इसी समय तो है, 1336 AD, 14th century AD. Okay, so this state came into existence as a result of policies of MBT, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Got it? As a result of policies of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And second point what we see is that the decline of Vijayanagar state started from 1565 onwards. यहाँ से start होता है, and the complete decline, here what we see, decline starts 1565. What we see, decline starts, and the complete decline is in 1640s. Exact year is 1647. So the complete decline is 1640s. Which century is this? This is 16th century. This is 16th century, and this is 17th century. So between this period, 16th and 17th century, what was happening? disintegration of a powerful Hindu empire, that is Vijayanagar Empire, was taking place during this period. Disintegration of a powerful Hindu empire, that is Vijayanagar Empire, was taking place. Okay, disintegration was taking place. Now you tell me, who was ruling during this time period? Mughal emperors were ruling. Very simple. Mughal emperors were ruling. Mughal emperors were ruling. The center of power was north. Mughal emperors were ruling and the center of power was north. Now, we all know this fact that when a powerful empire will disintegrate, what will happen? Many new independent states will come into existence. So the same will happen, right? Decline and disintegration of Vijayanagar Empire means what? Okay, many new states will come into existence. This will happen. So we see many new states will come into existence. So when it was crumbling, a state will come into existence here, and this state is known as Mysore. Okay, so Mysore state, okay, Mysore state was previously a part of Vijayanagar Empire, and when the disintegration of disintegration of Vijayanagar Empire took place, Mysore established itself as an independent state. Mysore established itself as an independent state. Mysore established itself as an independent state. मैसूर ने क्या किया? अपने आप को इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट के रूप में एस्टैब्लिश किया, राइट? नाउ this all was a part of Vijayanagar Empire, and the territories kept on changing. We all know this. Okay, the territories were not well defined. The territories kept on changing. Look here, this is Mysuru state. Look at this map. This is Mysuru state. So it is quite clear that earlier it was a part of Vijayanagar Empire, and this state, right, this, the ruler was the Mysuru. It was ruled by a ruler of Wadiyar dynasty. This is also an important information. It was ruled by a ruler of Wadiyar dynasty, and the name of this ruler was Chikka Krishna Raj. So it was ruled by the ruler of a Wadiyar dynasty, and the name of this ruler was Chikka Krishna Raj, right? It was ruled by the ruler of a Wadiyar dynasty, and the name of ruler was Chikka Krishna Raj. And now there were two ministers who were very powerful in each state. The name of one minister was Nand Raj or Nanjaraj, and the second name was Dulwai. Okay, so he was the ruler. Chikka Krishna Raj was the ruler, belonging to which dynasty? Wadiyar dynasty. And there were two powerful ministers here. There were Chikka Krishna Raj was the ruler, and there were two powerful ministers. And the name of these two powerful ministers is, one is Nandaraj, it's also written as Nanjaraj, and the second is Dulwai. Right. Now what will happen? Gradually, Nandaraj and Dulwai will do what? Okay, they will hijack power, and Chikka Krishna Raj was only a rubber stamp. He became a nominal ruler only. These ministers gradually concentrated all the powers in their own hands. They concentrated all the powers in their own hand. All the powers in their own hand. These ministers gradually concentrated all powers in their own hand. सारी की सारी शक्तियां अपने हाथ में केंद्रित कर ली. They concentrated all the powers in their own hands. ठीक है? Now in this state, Hyder Ali was a soldier. By his capability, he rose to the office of military commander-in-chief. And what Hyder Ali will do? Hyder Ali will end the power and dominance of these two ministers. Okay, this will happen. So Hyder Ali has a very humble beginning. Okay, पहले वो soldier ही था, simple soldier था. So Hyder Ali was a soldier by his ability. Okay, he became military commander in chief, and gradually he did what? Okay, he ended the power and dominance of these powerful ministers. Hyder Ali ended the power and dominance of these two powerful ministers. इनके पावर और डोमिनेंस को क्या कर दिया? खत्म कर दिया. Now what will happen? Hyder Ali will rule Mysore. He never declared himself as the ruler, but actually he was ruling Mysore. The Wadiyar dynasty ruler was the nominal head, and the actual power and control was in the hands of Hyder Ali. This is the story. Very simple. Okay, here what we see is that the Wadiyar dynasty ruler was a nominal head now. He was a nominal head. Entire power and control was exercised by Hyder Ali. Entire power and control was exercised by Hyder Ali. Entire power and control was exercised by Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali never declared himself as a ruler. He never declared himself as a ruler never declared himself as a ruler, but he was ruling Mysore. He was ruling Mysore. Okay, never declared himself as the ruler, but he was ruling Mysore state. ठीक है, मैसूर स्टेट को रूल कर रहा था. Got it? He never declared himself as the ruler, but he was ruling Mysore state. इतनी कहानी क्लियर हो गई? Now, look at the next slide here. Okay, look at the previous slide first. Mysore was a very small state, but what a capable ruler will do? By his military ability, by his diplomatic skills, he will expand the territories, right? So the same will be done by Mysore state also. What we see? Mysore state, it will gradually expand its territories, right? Mysore gradually expanding its territories. It means under the leadership of Hyder Ali, what Mysuru का क्या होगा? Extension of political territories or boundaries will be done. Now Mysore was a rising state. Now Mysore was a rising state in 18th century. Mysore was a rising state in 18th century. Okay, and we all know this story that 18th century, what was happening? There was a political vacuum. There was a political vacuum, and this political vacuum is created by what? It is created by declining Mughal authority. There was a political vacuum, and this political vacuum was created by the declining Mughal authority. And East India Company was aspiring to fill that political vacuum. We all know this. That EIC, which was a trading company, had political ambitions as well. EIC, which was a trading company, had political ambitions as well. EIC was trying to fill this political vacuum, and for that EIC fought wars in Bengal in 1757, 1764. EIC emerged as an administrative body by signing this Treaty of Allahabad in this year, 1765. Okay, now, don't you think that a rising state, a rising political power is a challenge or threat to the political ambitions of East India Company? Yes. So will East India Company try to control Mysore? Yes. This is what? Conflict of interest. ये क्या है? Conflict of interest है. That here a rising power, a rising political power in 18th century, a rising political power in 18th century is definitely a threat for East India Company. it is definitely a threat for EIC. A rising power in 18th century is definitely a threat for East India Company. Okay, and we see that here what we see, conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. It is, Mysore state is like a hurdle, okay, against the growing aspirations of East India Company. AIC was trying to gain power, influence, was trying to establish itself as an administrative body, as an political power. So in this situation, it was like a hurdle. Is it clear? It means Mysore is a hurdle for East India Company. This we have understood. Now, look at the next slide. And what you see here, that this is Mysore state, and look at the neighboring states. One state is Hyderabad. One state is what? Maratha Confederacy. One state, second state. Okay. Karnataka is also there. Karnataka is also there. Now tell me one thing. Look at this structure and look at the neighboring states. Was there political unity between the local powers, between the regional powers? No. And now the second point, when Mysuru will increase its political territories or boundaries, it will encroach the political territories and boundaries of which powers? Hyderabad, Karnataka, right? Marathas will also not like the growing Mysuru state. It means what will happen? The rise of Mysuru as an independent state and the growing power of Mysuru also created challenges for Hyderabad. It also created challenge for, okay, Marathas. So Mysore was also creating challenges for Hyderabad, also creating challenges for Marathas. And already there was a lack of political unity. We know this, lack of political unity between the regional powers. Between the regional powers. Okay. Now, Hyder Ali, we will discuss about Hyder Ali. Now I am going to discuss some important points about this ruler, Hyder Ali. And that is very interesting. That when Hyder Ali became the ruler, he realized, or he was able to understand the true character or nature of East India Company, which the other local rulers of at that time failed to understand. बंगाल नवाब्स वो करंट अफेयर्स आईआर वगैरह नहीं पढ़ते थे, हैदर अली पढ़ता था, राइट? तो हैदर अली was successful. He realized that EIC, East India Company, is not only a trading company. It's not only a trading company. It has political aspirations as well. Hyder Ali realized it. It has political aspirations as well. Hyder Ali was mature enough to understand. Hyder Ali was mature enough to understand the concept of colonialism. He was understanding that how British government is trying to increase its power and influence with the help of trading company. He was understanding this. He was very mature. He was familiar of what is going on all around the world. पूरी दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है ये उसको पता था, right? And he was also knowing that the British are using their policy of divide and rule. And what is this policy? Supporting one local power against the another. It means they are taking advantages of what? Lack of political unity among the regional powers. He realized that the British are using the policy of divide rule and they are using the policy of supporting one local ruler against the another. They are using this policy of supporting one local ruler against the another, and by using this policy they are making us weaker. By using this policy they are doing what? They are making us weaker. Yes. Hmm. Obviously, Mysore was a powerful state of that time. Okay? And why it was a powerful state, that I am going to discuss. The progressive outlook of the rulers. That point we will also use in counter arguments against the Dark Ages. Okay? What I discussed here is what? That he was familiar with this policy that EIC are using what? Supporting one against the another. It means they are taking advantages of our lack of political unity. Now in this situation, Hyder Ali will do what? Hyder Ali will try to convince local powers. Hyder Ali will try to convince local powers, okay, to develop unity against the East India Company. It means he will try to make an anti-British alliance. This I will discuss while discussing wars. So Hyder's effort of making anti-British alliance, Hyder's efforts of making anti-British alliance is what? It is progressive or not? Yes, it is progressive because he was successful in understanding the common danger. Okay. Now he was also familiar, international relations padhta tha. He was also familiar that British and French are not only rivals in India, they are also rivals in Europe. ये भी पता था उसको, 7 years war भी पता था. Now Hyder Ali was also knowing. Hyder Ali was also knowing that British and French are not only rivals in India, but they are also main rivals in Europe also. They are also main rivals in Europe. So what he did? He used the same policy of East India Company against East India Company, supporting one against the another. मतलब समझ गए? It means Hyder Ali will take the support of French against the British. उन्हीं की policy उन्हीं के खिलाफ apply कर दी. That is a very smart strategy. So Hyder Ali did what? Read this. Hyder Ali took the help of French. Hyder Ali took the help of French. Okay. And by taking the help of French, what he did? He realized that, okay, a modern army is the need of the time. And he realized the weaknesses of the army of the local states. That European army was what? Well trained. Okay, European training. Now the same training which East India Company soldiers had, the same training French soldiers also had. Now he will do what? He will take the support of French and he will provide European style military training to his soldiers. European style military training to his soldiers with the support and help of French. It means he is doing what? He is strengthening his military forces. He is strengthening his military forces. Is it progressive or not? Yes, this is progressive. He is strengthening his military forces. He is modernizing his army. Providing European training also means what? Modernizing the army. So he is also doing what? He is also modernizing his army. अपनी आर्मी को भी क्या कर रहा है? Modernize कर रहा है. He is also modernizing his army. Clear? And not only this, in this modernization, what he did? He also set up an arsenal. What is the arsenal? Okay, the place where wars, factories, ammunitions were kept. Okay, so he got war equipments from the French also. He purchased it and he developed an arsenal in Dindigul. He developed an arsenal in Dindigul. It means on one side he was making diplomatic efforts. And in these diplomatic efforts, he was trying to develop an anti-British alliance with the support of local rulers. On the other side, he was using the East India Company policy against EIC itself. That what he did? He took the support of French against the British, and with the help of French, he modernized his army. Right? He also tried to give European training to its soldiers with the help of French, and he also set up an arsenal in Dindigul. It means Hyder Ali realized that for a progressive state, for a progressive state, what is needed? A powerful military is needed. When there will be a powerful military, so this powerful military will protect you from the internal as well as external threats. This powerful military will be help where it will be help in the suppression of revolts and rebellions. It will be help in the suppression of revolts and rebellions. Powerful military will be helped in the suppression of revolts and rebellions. This powerful military can also be helped in checking the invasion of Marathas. Maratha were continuously invading, so this could be also be helped in checking the continuous invasion of Marathas, continuous invasion of Marathas. And external danger is what? East India Company and the growing interference of East India Company in the affairs of the local states. So he realized the importance of military. Okay, he did all this. And Mysuru state, the administration, he also provided a sound administration to the people of Mysuru. Sound administration means effective land revenue policies. The peasants were given relaxations at the times of droughts and famines. He also tried to follow a policy of religious tolerance, uh, tolerance, okay. It means that not discriminating with the Hindus. But the colonial historians, while writing history, they will try to paint Hyder Ali as a radical Muslim ruler, क्योंकि उनको अपना एजेंडा कौन सा प्रूव करना है, that 18th century was dark age. So they are prejudiced that what we have to prove. Okay, so Hyder Ali, okay, he was also a ruler who was following the policy of religious tolerance, policy of religious tolerance. So this is Hyder Ali. Got it? These are important points. Now, after his death, his son will become the ruler. I will also discuss the war events, but here just we are trying to gather some basic facts and information. After this, his son will become the ruler, and the name of his son was Tipu Sultan. So write this point. Tipu Sultan was son of Hyder Ali, and the next ruler is Tipu Sultan. So we need to know about Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan. Which word we are using here? Sultan. What does it mean? Hyder Ali never, exactly, Hyder Ali never declared himself as the ruler. But here, Tipu has declared himself as ruler. पहली चीज है कि Tipu declared himself as ruler. This is point number 1. Tipu declared himself as a ruler. And he is holding the title of Sultan. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is the meaning of this title of Sultan? I have already discussed it in MC class, Sultan and Badshah. Caliph. So getting recognition from the caliph. और इस समय क्या caliph कहाँ था? Ottoman Empire, right? तो ये था getting recognition from the caliph. So write this. Tipu got recognition from caliph as the ruler. Tipu got recognition from caliph as the ruler. Okay, we all know. Okay, certificate of validation, Mansoor Patra, Man Patra, we all have discussed it. So he got validation as the ruler. So that's why he is using the title Sultan. Apart from this, what he did, like Delhi Sultanate rulers, he also, okay, asked the people to read his name in khutbah. Khutbah means morning prayers that are done on Friday. Okay, Friday sermons. So he also asked people, read this, he also asked people to read his name, He also asked the people to read his name in khutbahs. Khutbah में इसके नाम को read करना है. He also did this. He also asked the people to read his name in khutbah. okay, got his power validated by the, okay, Ottoman Caliph. Now, the next important point. Now, this person, Tipu Sultan, was a very progressive leader. He was a very progressive leader. He was well familiar with what was going on around the world. ठीक है, ये हमेशा करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ता रहता था. ठीक है, he was well familiar with the events of the world. He was well familiar with the events of the world. दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, इससे ये well familiar था. Now the next important point here is that he became ruler in which year? 1782. कब रूलर बना है? 1782. और बताओ, दिस इज 18th सेंचुरी. वर्ल्ड में इस समय पे कौन सी इवेंट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है? विच इवेंट एट द वर्ल्ड लेवल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट? फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन 1789 में हुआ. वही तो सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर इवेंट है. He became the ruler in 1782. He was familiar with the events of the world, and the most importantly, he was highly inspired by the French Revolution and its ideas. That is the most important thing. He was highly inspired by the French Revolution and its progressive ideals. French Revolution and its progressive ideals. अब एक बात बताओ कि if a ruler is inspired by the ideals of French Revolution, तो उसको हम क्या कहें? प्रोग्रेसिव कहें कि कंजर्वेटिव कहें? क्या कहोगे? कॉलोनियल हिस्टोरियंस ने टीपू को एक रेडिकल रूलर लिखा है, ऑर्थोडॉक्स रूलर लिखा है, हिंदूज के साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेट करने वाला बताया, बट बिपान चंद्र बुक डज नॉट एक्सेप्ट दिस. ठीक है, और ऐसा था नहीं, बिकॉज हिस्ट्री राइटिंग में कॉलोनियल हिस्टोरियंस हैड रिटन मोर अबाउट आवर हिस्ट्री. हमसे ज़्यादा काम किसने किया? बाकी तो पता ही है, रिसर्च में हम क्या करते हैं, कॉपी पेस्ट करते हैं, वही चलता है अपने यहाँ तो. ठीक है, तो ही वॉज इंस्पायर्ड बाई द फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन एंड इट्स प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स. अच्छा देखो, फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन के प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स क्या है? वन इज व्हाट? लिबर्टी. द सेकंड इज व्हाट? इक्वलिटी. एंड द थर्ड इज फ्रेटर्निटी. We already have discussed this in world history class. Liberty, equality and fraternity. So you will find a fact in the books that Tipu planted tree of liberty. Tipu planted tree of liberty where? So in Seringapatanam, which was the capital of Mysore state. Tipu planted tree of liberty in Seringapatanam. Tipu planted tree of liberty in Seringapatanam, right? Tipu planted this tree of liberty in Seringapatanam. Seringapatanam. Got it? तो ऐसा कोई पेड़ होता है क्या? नहीं. This was symbolic. ठीक है, this was symbolic tree of liberty, and it shows that Tipu was familiar with the progressive ideals of revolution. And most importantly, Tipu was also a member of Jacobin Club. हमें कब पता चला जैकबिन क्लब? कोचिंग करने के बाद पता चला. उस समय कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स नहीं थी. Tipu was a member of Jacobin Club. It means he was knowing that what is the meaning of Jacobin and what is the meaning of Girondist. Okay, you all know the meaning of Jacobin and Girondist. Okay, so write this point also, that Tipu was also a member of Jacobin Club. And again, this is very symbolic. Jacobin Club. Who were the Jacobins? Can you explain? Jacobins कौन थे in French Revolution? There were two groups in French Revolution. One was the Jacobin, other was the Girondist. बताया था आपको. One phase was phase of moderate republicanism, and the next phase was phase of radical republicanism. Moderate republicanism में कौन dominate कर रहा था? Girondist और Jacobins? Girondist. Radical republicanism में who was dominating? Jacobins. So Jacobins were what? This Jacobin group in French Revolution was radical supporter of republicanism. ये क्या थे? They were the radical supporter of republicanism. They were the radical supporter of republicanism. मतलब रिपब्लिक चाहिए at any cost. They say that we want republics at any cost. We don't want to compromise with the ideas of revolution. We want republics at any cost. We don't want to compromise with the ideas of revolution. तो देखो टीपू कौन से ग्रुप में था, कॉम्प्रोमाइजर्स में कि नॉन कॉम्प्रोमाइजर्स में? नॉन कॉम्प्रोमाइजर्स में. It means his belief in ideas of revolution was what? Very firm. So what you will say him? Conservative or progressive? क्या कहोगे? और जो टीपू को क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं वो भी ये फैक्ट लिखते हैं अपनी बुक में, दैट टीपू वाज अ मेंबर ऑफ जैकोबिन क्लब. तो इसके मायने हैं दैट he was a firm believer in the idea of republic, but there was a limitation. उस समय वो कहाँ से रिपब्लिक लाता, मेरी बात समझ गया ना? ओके, बट ही वाज, इस बात में यकीन करना भी तो बड़ी बात है, राइट? ओके, सो दैट इज वन थिंग. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग व्हाट ही विल डू नाउ. What Hyder Ali realized? Hyder Ali realized that a powerful military is the need of the time. So if we want to make a modern state, what is needed? A powerful military is needed. Tipu इससे एक कदम आगे निकल गया. Tipu said that if we want to make our state a powerful state, so apart from the powerful military, what we need is economic prosperity. It means we must focus on economic prosperity, promoting trade and commerce, promoting agriculture and agricultural activities, providing irrigation facilities to the farmers, and this will bring economic prosperity. और जब economic prosperity होगी, so we can make our military more powerful. Okay, so this is the focus of Tipu, that in order to make modern state, what is needed? A powerful military, because protecting the state from dangers is also important. Then economic prosperity is needed, and he was also believing in the modern ideas. This is one thing. Clear? Now, the policies of Hyder Ali will be continued or discontinued. What will happen? Continued. तो वो सारे points यहाँ भी आ जाएंगे, right? That taking the help and support of French, providing the soldiers French training, military training, European style military training. So this is very simple, that the policies of Hyder Ali, the policies of Hyder Ali will be continued. The policies of Hyder Ali will be continued. It means Tipu will get French support and help also. French military support and help also in rebuilding his army. Rebuilding his army. He is taking French and support and help against whom? Against British. अब देखो क्या है, he is inspired by the French ideas. He is taking French help and support. And under his leadership, the state Mysore was growing again. State was growing means its political territories. So Mysore was again Hyder Ali, and Mysore did what? Tipu did what? Under the leadership of Tipu, okay, Tipu was also a capable and efficient ruler. So Mysore state was growing powerful day by day. Day by day. It was growing powerful day by day. And Tipu also was, Tipu understood the psychology of British. What British did? In their offices, they used to keep portraits or the paintings. फॉर एग्जाम्पल बैटल ऑफ पलासी का फोटो लगा देंगे, वो पेंटर से बनवाएंगे. सिराजुद्दौला लाइंग इन द बैटल फील्ड, क्लाइव पुटिंग शॉर्ड ऑन हिज नेक, पुटिंग वन लेग ऑन द चेस्ट ऑफ सिराजुद्दौला, एंड दे विल पुट दिस पिक्चर इन देयर ऑफिसेस. आपको बुला के कहेंगे देखो ही इज द नवाब ऑफ बंगाल, यही है. तो दिस विल क्रिएट अ सेंस ऑफ फियर ना. यस, एंड दे विल मेक मैप्स ऑल्सो. मैप्स के साथ भी क्या करेंगे, अपने हिसाब से मैप ड्रॉ कर देंगे. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन मैप पे कितना, इतना छोटा सा है, बट व्हाट दे विल डू, when they will draw the map of Great Britain in their offices which they were putting, they will include all those territories or areas which were the part of their colonies, and they will say that Great Britain इतना बड़ा country है और इंडिया इतना छोटा सा country है. तो नेटिव स्टेट रूलर्स डर जाते थे वो देख के कि यार ब्रिटेन से हम कैसे लड़ पाएंगे. ठीक है, तो व्हाट टीपू डिड, टीपू ने भी पेंटिंग बनवाई in which the British officer is lying on the ground, ठीक है, and Tipu is putting sword on his neck. और फिर से सलमान खान का वो टाइगर वाला जो अपीयरेंस आता है थोड़ा सा वो भी उसने कर दिया, राइट. तो ही वॉज द टाइगर, टाइगर का फेस थोड़ा अपने साथ मतलब वो कर दिया, एडिट विडिट करके लगा दिया. नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन, ब्रिटिश रियलाइज्ड दैट ये हर लेवल पे हमें परेशान कर रहा है साइकोलॉजिकली. ही इज टेकिंग हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट ऑफ आवर एनिमीज. Now who was the most formidable enemy for British. Mysore. Rising Mysore state was one of the most important challenge for the British. And Tipu, there is also historical reference that Tipu also provided donations for the construction of temples, which refutes the idea that Tipu was an orthodox. ठीक है ना, अलग अलग बुक्स मिलेंगी, ठीक है, मैं अलग से पढ़ाऊंगा तो टीपू को ऑर्थोडॉक्स भी साबित कर सकता हूँ, बट आई विल नॉट डू दिस हियर, ठीक है, उसके लिए दूसरा चैनल बनाना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दिस विल कॉम्प्रोमाइज द नीड ऑफ एग्जाम। मेरी बात समझ गया ना? तो वी हैव टू जस्ट रीड हिस्ट्री इन अ प्रॉपर डायरेक्शन, ठीक है, ये बात समझ गया ना? यहाँ पार्टी लाइन से अलग होकर हिस्ट्री को पढ़ना है, ठीक है, तो अपनी भावनाओं को नियंत्रण में रखें जब भी आप इतिहास पढ़ रहे हो फॉर यूपीएससी, ठीक है। कुछ लोग नाराज हो जाते हैं कि सर आपने तो टीपू सुल्तान को अच्छा बता दिया, हम तो बुरा समझते थे, कॉल भी करते हैं मेरे पास। फिर मैंने कहा अच्छा क्या समझना चाहते हो, बुरा समझना चाहते हो, आधे घंटे बात करता हूँ, फिर समझ जाओ। लेकिन एग्जाम में मत यूज करना, ठीक है। तो रेड दिस, ओके, रेड दिस। कल्चर ऑफ टॉलरेंस वाज आल्सो प्रोमोटेड बाय हिम, कल्चर ऑफ टॉलरेंस। टीपू आल्सो donated money, Tipu also donated money for the construction of temple. Okay, Tipu also donated money for the construction of temple. And there is a very famous saying of Tipu, and that is, better to live a day as a lion than lifetime as a sheep. एक दिन शेर की तरह जिंदा रहना ज्यादा अच्छा है जीवन भर भेड़ बकरियों का जीवन जीने की तुलना में। तो दिस इज द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ टीपू, इट्स बेटर टू लिव वन डे एज अ लायन, ठीक है, so that is the most important thing. So this is Tipu, but now we have to understand the next part here. And what is the next part? Have you understood this entire information? Okay, you will try to solve PYQs, most important facts I have discussed. Okay, now the questions are also asked from एंग्लो मैसूरू वॉर्स, दिस वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड। अच्छा, यहाँ पे आप नेबरिंग स्टेट्स को तो समझ ही चुके हो, राइट? नाउ राइट दिस एंग्लो मैसूरू वॉर्स, ओके, एंग्लो मैसूरू वॉर। We all know that now Mysore state, rising Mysore state was a challenge for the British. So British will try to eliminate this challenge, and this war was inevitable. Inevitable. Inevitable means which cannot be discarded. That is Anglo-Mysore. Anglo-Mysore wars. This war is inevitable. So we need to study about this Anglo-Mysore. So first you should know the number. How many Anglo-Mysore wars were fought? How many Anglo-Maratha wars were fought? सबसे पहले तो ये याद रखना है. So how many Anglo-Mysore wars were fought? So the answer is 4. 4. Okay. And the years are, I am writing the years here. First, second, third, and fourth. The first war in 1767 to 1769. This is the first war. Second war from 1780 to 1784. That is the second war. The third war from 1790 to 1792. And the fourth war in the year 1799. 1799. Here, Tipu was defeated and killed. Here, Tipu was defeated and killed. Tipu was defeated and killed. Tipu was defeated and killed in the year 1799. Now, facts also tell us story. And what is the story? Okay, look at these facts. The first Anglo-Mysore war started when? 1767, right? And fourth Anglo-Mysore war, what is the year of fourth Anglo-Mysore war? Year is 1799. So for British, it took how many years to establish control over Mysore? कितने साल लग गए? देख लो, 67, 77, 87, 97, 32 years. It means it took approximately 32 years. Approximately 32 years. Okay, 32 years. to establish control over Mysore. Control over Mysore. Now tell me one thing. These wars which are fought here are short-term wars or prolonged wars? Okay, prolonged war. These wars are also prolonged wars. ये लंबे समय तक चलने वाले wars है. These are what? Prolonged wars. Now tell me, if prolonged wars are being fought, okay, it means that Mysore is resisting in a very effective manner, in a very efficient manner. It is a testimony of this fact that Mysore was a powerful state. इतना टाइम लग गया, यही इस बात का प्रूफ है दैट मैसूर वॉज अ पावरफुल स्टेट. बताओ, इससे ज़्यादा प्रूफ चाहिए क्या? मैसूर वॉज अ पावरफुल स्टेट. दिस इज द प्रूफ दैट मैसूर इज द पावरफुल स्टेट. यही तो प्रूफ है. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर इज दैट व्हेन फर्स्ट एंग्लो मैसूर war was fought, who was the ruler? So Hyder Ali was the ruler. Okay. The next important fact is that when second Anglo-Mysore war was started, here also Hyder Ali was the ruler, but Hyder Ali died in this year, that is 1782. Write this fact. This has already been asked in UPSC exam, so this is a PYQ. Read this. Hyder Ali died. Hyder Ali died in 1782. This question has been asked that how Hyder died. UPSC wrote a statement that Hyder died while fighting war. This is incorrect. Hyder died by a disease. So write this point. ये पूछा गया आपके एग्जाम में. Read this. Hyder did not die while fighting war, but Hyder died due to a disease in 1782. Hyder did not died fighting war, but Hyder died. Okay. Died. Okay. Hyder died due to a disease. And after this, the leadership will come in the hands of टीपू. तो देखो, टीपू की लीडरशिप कहाँ है? सेकेंड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर में है, सेकेंड हाफ. दैट इज द सेकेंड हाफ, 82 to 84. फिर थर्ड वॉर में हु इज लीडिंग हियर? टीपू इज लीडिंग हियर. फोर्थ एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर, हु इज लीडिंग? टीपू इज लीडिंग. Second Anglo-Mysore war, who is leading? So in first half, Hyder Ali was really leading, and in second half, Tipu Sultan was leading. Okay, first में who is leading? Hyder Ali is leading. Hyder Ali is leading. Okay, got this entire idea? Now, here, now there are two kind of studies here. One is what? Discussing the complete analysis of this war. ठीक है ना? And second is what? Getting most significant informations from these wars. So for your GS syllabus, what is important? Getting more significant informations or facts from this war. So we'll do this only. ठीक है? Complete war discussion में नहीं जाएंगे. Still I will discuss with you some basic idea. ये आपको एक idea लगेगा. Now, first Anglo-Mysore war, 1767 to 1769. Write this. 1767 to 1769. Who is leading here? Hyder Ali is leading. Hyder Ali is leading here. 1767 to 1769. Hyder Ali was leading in this war. And what we see here is that British East India Company is trying to crush the power of Mysore. Is trying to crush the power of Mysore. And East India Company is known for its diplomacy. We all know this, that they are known for their diplomacy. They are known for their diplomacy. So what East India Company did here, that is a very important thing. What East India Company did? East India Company, okay, will take the help of neighboring states against the Tipu. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? वो किसकी मदद लेंगे? नेबरिंग स्टेट्स की. ठीक है, नेबरिंग स्टेट्स में कौन है? मराठा एंड निजाम ऑफ हैदराबाद. नाउ ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी विल प्ले डिप्लोमेसी. एंड व्हाट इज द डिप्लोमेसी? EIC will contact Hyderabad state. It means Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam of Hyderabad. And EIC will promise that we will defeat Mysore and we will give you the territories of Mysore state which you want. हमारी हेल्प करो, पहले मैसूर को डिफीट करेंगे और फिर आपको जो टेरिटरीज चाहिए वो हम दे देंगे. वी विल गिव यू द टेरिटरीज विच यू वांट. नाउ दे विल आल्सो कॉन्टेक्ट whom? Marathas. Okay, and they will say that help us and we'll give you the money, the territories which you want. It means they are giving what? Offers to the Nizam, offers to the Marathas, that if you will do help, it means if you will provide military help and support against your neighbor, against your neighbor, then we will give you money and we will give you territories. Money plus territory. In this way EIC played its diplomacy. ठीक है, इन सब से बात कर लिया. Then Hyder Ali, he is also known for his diplomatic outlook. Hyder Ali टीपू से बड़ा डिप्लोमेट था, right? So Hyder Ali was also known for his diplomatic outlook. He is also known for his diplomatic outlook. So what Hyder Ali will do? What Hyder Ali will do? Hyder Ali will also approach Hyderabad state and Marathas. इन दोनों को अप्रोच करेगा. And Hyder Ali will say that I know that what East India Company is offering to you. And East India Company is offering all those benefits when you will provide military help and support, and I will give you all those benefits if you will remain neutral in war. अब वो तुमको लड़ने का पैसा दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, मैं तुमको न्यूट्रल रहने का पैसा दूंगा. अच्छा बताओ कौन सा ऑफर ज्यादा फायदे वाला है? सेकेंड, विदाउट फाइटिंग वॉर यू आर गेटिंग द सेम मनी. कोई आपको किडनैप करने के लिए आए और आपने बहुत प्यार से उससे पूछा कहा किसने भेजा है, सामने वाले ने बताया विपिन ने भेजा है. अच्छा, तुमको पता ही नहीं है विपिन के पास कितने एसेट है, ठीक है, मैं बताता हूँ और मैं तुमको दुगना पैसा देता हूँ, उसी को किडनैप कर लो. वही काम हैदर अली करेगा. हैदर अली विल कन्विंस Hyderabad state and Marathwada state that I will pay you the same offer, even more than that I will give you, but the condition is that you will remain neutral. पहली condition ये है. And the second condition is that our what we are dealing here should never be exposed. ये चीज बाहर नहीं आनी चाहिए. ओके, ये सीक्रेट ट्रीटी हमारे बीच है. नाउ हैदर अली एंड मराठास विल एक्सेप्ट दिस ऑफर. कहेंगे पैसा उतना ही मिल रहा है, हमें न्यूट्रल रहना है. एंड व्हेन द वॉर विल स्टार्ट, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी विल कम टू फाइट हैदर अली, एंड व्हाट विल हैपन? मराठास एंड हैदराबाद विल नॉट कम इन सपोर्ट ऑफ ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी. तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को क्या करना पड़ेगा? ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी आफ्टर 2 years, देखो कब से कब तक चला है, 1767 to 1769. After 2 years also, EIC was not able to establish its political control over Mysore state, and after this East India Company has to sign a humiliating treaty, and East India Company will promise that we will never create troubles for the Mysore state again in our life. जीवन में कभी मैसूर स्टेट को हम परेशान नहीं करेंगे. दिस इज व्हाट, ओके, द डिप्लोमेसी ऑफ हैदर अली. अब देखो क्या है, there an important context and the story part that is needed to be studied by optional students, but here ये भी हमें नहीं समझना था, केवल इतना समझना है कि डिप्लोमेसी, हैदर अली was a diplomatic person and somehow he checked the diplomacy of East India Company by forming an anti-British alliance here. क्या बना लिया उसने? एंटी ब्रिटिश अलायंस बना लिया. इसलिए तो ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के लिए सबसे परेशान करने वाली बात थी. he formed an anti-British alliance here, right here, right. This war ended with a treaty. Read this, 1769. This war ended with a treaty. We are only writing the facts here. Analysis is to be studied by optional students. This was Treaty of, read this. This war ended with a treaty. This was known as Treaty of Madras. Treaty of Madras. So this war ended with a treaty, and this was the Treaty of Madras. Treaty of Madras was signed in which year? 1769. And this treaty was humiliating for East India Company. This treaty was humiliating for East India Company. Humiliating for East India Company because Hyder Ali got an edge over the British हैदर अली got an edge over the British. हैदर अली क्या था? हैदर अली got an edge over the British. So this was a kind of humiliating treaty. Got it? And what is the year 1769? 1769 में अंग्रेजों का अचीवमेंट क्या है? बैटल ऑफ प्लासी, बैटल ऑफ बक्सर, ट्रीटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद. They have defeated Mughal emperor. They have defeated Awadh's ruler. They have defeated Bengal Nawab. Collective powers को defeat किया. And what they are doing? They are facing, you can say it's not defeat, but it's a kind of humiliating defeat because the EIC did not get important results here. So this was the first Anglo-Mysore war. Got it? So this is important. Now, second Anglo-Mysore war. Second Anglo-Mysore war. I am not entering into detail because that is not needed here. Okay? Only I am discussing what is important for your GS part here. Treaty of Madras, Treaty of Mangalore, all these to be studied in answer format for the optional student. Now this 8084. So what is important here? So write this. Hyder Ali died in this year 1782, and then leadership came in the hands of Tipu Sultan. टीपू सुल्तान. अब लीडरशिप किसके पास आ गई? टीपू के पास. And what will happen here? Okay, टीपू failed to maintain that anti-British alliance. और इसके पीछे रीजन क्या है? Who is responsible? It's not टीपू, it's the other neighboring state. जैसे मान लो हैदर अली succeeded in convincing, but what happened? Marathas, Nizam, they failed to realize that we need to be united, right, to counter the growing power of East India Company. And that's why here what will happen? Write this. Okay, but obviously this is the failure. So write this. Tipu failed to develop anti-British alliance. Tipu failed to develop anti-British alliance. Here Tipu failed to develop that anti-British alliance. Okay, na? It means here what will happen? East India Company will get the support of Marathas and Nizam, and here Tipu is fighting alone. East India Company will get the support of Marathas and Nizam, and Tipu is fighting alone. But still EIC failed to defeat Mysore. इसके बाद भी मैसूर स्टेट को डिफीट नहीं कर पाया. ये बड़ी बात है कि नहीं? Still EIC failed to defeat. In 1784 a treaty was signed. Read this. And the name of this treaty is Treaty of Mangalore. And this war came to an end. In 1784 treaty was signed, and this treaty is known as Treaty of Mangalore, and this war came to an end. This war came to an end. And the result in this war is inconclusive. The result in war is inconclusive. It means it was a completely drawn struggle. बराबरी की लड़ाई थी, न कोई जीता न कोई हारा. It also shows that Mysore was a powerful state. ठीक है, इससे भी क्या पता चलता है कि Mysore was a powerful state. Got it? Now we are coming to the third point. Okay, right. So what is the third point here? Third topic here. That's Third Anglo-Mysore War. Third Anglo-Mysore War. Third Anglo-Mysore War. And what is the time period? That is 1790 to 1792. 1790 to 1792. Again, what will happen? Who is leading this war? Tipu Sultan. Again, Tipu Sultan is leading. And what will happen? Tipu failed to make that anti-British alliance. Anti-British alliance Tipu failed to make. It means again here EIC will get the support of Marathas plus Hyderabad. Maratha plus Hyderabad. Okay. And in this war, what will happen? Tipu will be defeated. It means here a treaty will be signed, and that treaty is known as Treaty of Seringapatanam. That treaty is known as Treaty of Seringapatanam, right? It means Tipu was defeated in this war. Tipu was defeated in this war. Tipu was defeated. It means here the war results are conclusive, decisive. Tipu is defeated. Seringapatanam was captured. Tipu had to surrender more than half of its territory to the British East India Company. Tipu had to surrender more than half of its territory. More than half of its territory. More than half of its territory to EIC. Tipu had to surrender more than half of its territory to EIC. And the next point is war indemnity. It means war compensation amount. Tipu had to pay the war compensation amount, right? Tipu had to pay war compensation amount. ठीक है ना? टीपू को क्या करना पड़ा? War compensation amount भी pay करना पड़ेगा. Is it clear? And this amount was okay very high. Tipu was unable to pay that amount. And what East India Company did? East India Company will keep 2 sons of Tipu in captivity. ये बिल्कुल गुंडों वाला काम हो गया. That pay EMI जब तक आपका EMI complete नहीं होगा, ठीक है, your sons will be in the captivity of East India Company. So that is the nature of East India Company. ठीक है, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी केवल वॉर नहीं फाइट कर रही. ये अप्रोच क्या है? ये माफिया वाला अप्रोच है ना. द सेम अप्रोच दैट war indemnity, the war compensation amount was very high, and when Tipu was unable to pay, so he was asked to pay EMIs, and for this his 2 sons were kept in captivity. His 2 sons were kept under the control of East India Company. That until you clear this amount, okay, what will happen? Okay, we will keep your sons to pay this amount. Now this is a humiliating defeat for Tipu Sultan. This defeat is what? Humiliating defeat for Tipu Sultan. This defeat was a humiliating defeat for Tipu. And British East India Company was knowing this, that Tipu will definitely take revenge of this humiliating defeat. It means Tipu will react for sure. Tipu इस अपमान का बदला लेगा, right? Tipu will react for sure. Tipu will take revenge of this. Tipu will come back. Tipu will fight war again. Now EIC was also prepared to fight war, and Tipu was also preparing for fight war. Okay, so the next war was inevitable. अगला war होना ही था. It was undeniable. So what we see, the next war was fought in 1799. This is what? 4th Anglo-Mysore. It was fought in the year 1799. Okay? And this was a decisive war. It means conclusive war. This was a decisive war, conclusive war. The results of the war were clear. Now here what will happen? Fought between Hyder Ali and East India Company, and here East India Company got victory. East India Company got victory. Sorry, Tipu. It is by mistake. Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan and East India Company, and who will get victory here? East India Company. Now Tipu Sultan was defeated and killed here. He was defeated and killed. He was defeated and killed. And the battle is known as Battle of Seringapatanam. याद रखना. Third war ended with Treaty of Seringapatanam, and this battle is known as Battle of Seringapatanam. तो थोड़ा prelims में ध्यान रखना इसको. So this battle is known as Battle of Seringapatanam. This battle is known as Battle of Seringapatanam. Got this? Now, what East India Company will do? Okay, it will just introduce some new political system in Mysore, and what is that? EIC was very smart. They can declare themselves as the ruler of Mysore, but they will not do so. पता है आपको, लोकल सेंटिमेंट्स इनके अगेंस्ट चले जाएंगे. कॉलोनियलिज्म में आपको बहुत तरीके से बेवकूफ़ बनाया जाता है और वो वही करेंगे. What East India Company will do? East India Company will bring, okay, a minor successor of Wadiyar dynasty. It will bring a minor successor of Wadiyar dynasty. पहले किस डायनेस्टी का रूल था बताओ? यही डायनेस्टी थी ना, Wadiyar dynasty. And they will do what? देखो इस रूलर का नाम भी लोगों को नहीं पता नहीं है, ऐसे लोगों को लेके आते थे. ठीक है, ठीक है. Minor successor of Wadiyar dynasty, and they will install him as the ruler of Mysore. Install him as the ruler of Mysore. Mysore. And EIC will do what? EIC will announce that it had protected or saved the people of Mysore from the tyranny of Hyder and Tipu. EIC क्या कह रही है? It had saved the people of Mysore region from the tyranny of Hyder and Tipu. फिर अपने हिस्टोरियंस को काम पे लग जाओ बेटा. ठीक है, अब जो कह दिया उसको साबित तो करना पड़ेगा ना. हिस्टोरियंस विल डू दिस. अब आप समझ गए ना कहानी. इट मीन्स EIC इज ट्राइंग टू मेक एन इमेज ऑफ इटसेल्फ, एंड दिस इज व्हाट? द इमेज ऑफ अ लिबरेटर. बेसिकली क्या किया? लिबरेट किया क्या? नहीं. जो पैसा ले गए वो कहाँ का पैसा था? मैसूर का ही पैसा था ना. So they are trying to build their image of a liberator. ठीक है. So this is what they are trying to establish their the moral validation for the presence of East India Company in India. यहाँ हम हैं तो आपकी भलाई के लिए. Okay, this is an attempt to establish what? The moral validation for the presence of EIC rule in India. तो इसी बात को हम क्या कहते हैं? Right? Giving moral validity. This was an attempt, right? This was an attempt to give moral validity. This was an attempt to give moral validity for the colonial presence in India. This was an attempt to give moral validity for their colonial presence in India. This was an attempt to give moral validity for their colonial presence in India. And the colonial historians were given a task. And what was this task? To malign what? The image and personality of Hyder and Tipu. To portray them as the communal rulers, as the orthodox rulers. And this will also what? Increase the gap between the Hindus and Muslims. ठीक है, इसका फायदा भी लेना उनको. So they were doing all this. Got it? This is the development here. In 1799, this all happened. Now, another important point here I am relating is that Lord Wellesley was the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, he was the Governor General of Bengal from 1798 to 1805. ये टाइम पीरियड था लॉर्ड वेलेस्ली का. And Lord Wellesley came with a policy, and the name of this policy was subsidiary alliance policy. What is the name of that policy? The name of that policy was subsidiary alliance policy. So if the question is asked that who introduced subsidiary alliance policy in India, so what will be the answer? Lord Wellesley. If I ask you another question, subsidiary alliance policy was the brainchild of Duplin. आपको पता है ना subsidiary alliance में क्या होता है? What EIC will do? EIC will sign subsidiary alliance with Mysore state. वो alliance तो हैदर और टीपू कभी नहीं साइन करते. But what about this ruler? He will sign or not? जो बोलोगे वो करेगा ये ruler. So what will? Right? So write this. Mysuru, right? Subsidiary alliance was signed with Mysore. subsidy alliance was signed with Mysore in the year 1799. Subsidy alliance was signed with Mysore in the year 1799. एक और फैक्ट याद करो, with Awadh subsidy alliance was signed in which year? 1801. और कौन है गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल? देखो अवध वाला फैक्ट भी अब ऐसे रिलेट करो. When you will start relating the facts, you can easily remember, and this is true with all the GS modules. आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के सारे आर्टिकल्स याद है? नहीं याद है? 7 days में याद करा दूंगा, ठीक है? It will take 7 days 14 hours. All the articles will be on the tips. ठीक है? तो जब तक आप रिलेट नहीं करोगे, you will not be able to retain the information in your mind, right? So this is 1801 Awadh state. Got it? Now we are moving ahead. Oh, okay, one more point that is important for your exam, and that is also very important point that is asked. When first Anglo-Mysore war was fought, who was the governor of Bengal? ये पहला क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा. Who was the governor here? Governor of Bengal. Okay, who was the governor? Okay, so the governor was, write the name. The name was Lord Verelst. यहाँ पे नाम हो जाएगा Lord Verelst. Lord Verelst. ठीक है? अच्छा, मैसूर स्टेट, सॉरी, गवर्नर मैसूर, गवर्नर हु वाज द गवर्नर? मद्रास. देखो मैसूर स्टेट का जो मामला है, देखो पहले बंगाल, मद्रास एंड बॉम्बे, देयर विल बी 3 प्रेसिडेंसीज. नाउ मैसूर स्टेट, ओके, ये कौन सी प्रेसिडेंसी देखेगी इसको? विच प्रेसिडेंसी? मद्रास ओनली, ठीक है ना? तो दैट इज द पॉइंट हियर. लॉर्ड वेरेल्स्ट इज द नेम. नाउ अब यहां से क्या हो जाएगा? राइट दिस पॉइंट. सेकेंड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर, हु वाज द गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल, तो यहाँ पे नाम हो जाएगा वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स. वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ये याद रखना. दिस इज नॉट लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स, दिस इज वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स. पहले भी बता चुका हूँ, वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स वाज इन इंडिया 1772 टू 1785. यही है ना टाइम पीरियड वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स का? पहले देखा था डिवल सिस्टम ऑफ गवर्नेंस में, राइट? नाउ सेकेंड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर का ड्यूरेशन क्या है? 80-84. तो इसी ड्यूरेशन में तो आएगा. सो द आंसर विल बी वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स. ठीक है ना? अच्छा, लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स बगल में एक लो, उसका टाइम पीरियड है 1813 टू 23. तो डोंट बी कंफ्यूज. लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स है, ओके, लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स 1813 टू 1823. ठीक है? तो एग्जाम में क्या होता है? दे विल इंटरचेंज द इंफॉर्मेशंस बिकॉज दीज आर द सिमिलर नेम्स. ठीक है? तो इंफॉर्मेशन को इंटरचेंज करते हैं. नाउ आफ्टर दिस थर्ड में आते हैं. थर्ड में वी ऑल नो हु वाज द most popular personality, that is Lord Cornwallis. Read this. He is the most popular one. We will also discuss about these governor generals individually. Lord Cornwallis, okay, Lord Cornwallis from 1786 to 1793. ये ड्यूरेशन है. एंड लुक हियर, थर्ड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर इसी ड्यूरेशन में तो है. लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस. ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन, फोर्थ एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर. यहाँ पे कौन है? दिस इज क्लियर, लॉर्ड वेलेस्ली. लॉर्ड वेलेस्ली. ठीक है ना? तो इन प्रीलिम्स यू कैन गेट क्वेश्चंस लाइक दिस, दैट व्हेन सेकेंड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर वाज फॉट, लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस वाज द गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल. करेक्ट और इनकरेक्ट? इनकरेक्ट. ठीक है? तो ये आपको बिल्कुल याद रखना है. दिस शुड बी रिमेंबर्ड ऑलवेज कि कौन किस वॉर के दौरान था, बिकॉज दीज वॉर्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन हिस्ट्री. ओके, अब इसके बाद देखो क्या है. इफ यू आर अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल, तो वहां पे थोड़ा सा क्या करना होता है, आपको अलग तरीके से पढ़ना है. जैसे ट्रीटी ऑफ मद्रास आया, ट्रीटी ऑफ मैंगलोर आया, ट्रीटी ऑफ सेरिंगापट्टनम आया. ठीक है ना? तो थोड़ा सा एनालिटिकल होकर टॉपिक्स को देखना पड़ता है. फॉर जीएस दिस मच फैक्ट्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन आर सफिशिएंट. टुमारो विल डिस्कस द नेक्स्ट most important regional state, that is Marathas, in detail. ठीक है ना? So obviously I think that we will be able to finish only Marathas because that's a lengthy topic. ठीक है? Then I will discuss with you 6 state. Okay, all these are the important states. So gradually we will finish one by one, then we'll discuss the dark ages debate and all this. ठीक है? And after this we'll enter into the topic. So these are taking time, these topics are taking time, बट दीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट स्टडी. आपका काम क्या है? PYQs से यू विल कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग द प्रीवियस ईयर UPSC questions. ठीक है. For example, we have discussed Awadh state, we have discussed Bengal state, we have discussed today Mysore. So those PYQs, okay, which you find in question bank, try to solve them and try to take help from the explanation part also, right? And if you are with your family members, some younger brother, some friends, so sit and discuss MCQs with those people. So in this way you can develop command over MCQs. Once you read MCQ, understand the explanation, and what is the second stage? To discuss it with someone else, and you will not forget that fact or information. But when you will not do discussions, you will keep forgetting, and in exam there will be a state of confusion. यही fact था या नहीं था. But when you will do that part, discussion part, for example, read chapters, MCQs of 2 or 3 chapters, then do discussions. Try to teach someone else, and in this way you will never forget the facts and information. मुझे भी इतना नहीं याद रहता था, मुझे तो पढ़ाते पढ़ाते याद हुआ है, और अभी भी मुझे हिस्ट्री आती वाती नहीं है, कुछ नहीं आती है. सोचो, आई एम स्टिल लर्निंग. ठीक है. तो आपको टीचर के साथ कंपेयर नहीं करना है कि इतना मुझे हमेशा नहीं आया. यू विल बी एबल टू रिटेन द इंफॉर्मेशन. व्हेन यू विल डू दिस इंफॉर्मेशन, यू विल गेट दैट द थिंग्स विल बी रिकॉल्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन हॉल. हो सकता है ऑल ऑफ अ सडन इफ समवन आस्क यू कि बताओ लॉर्ड वेलेस्ली कब से कब तक था गवर्नर, you will not be able to give answer, but when you will be solving question you will be able to relate the information. तो आपको वही स्टेज चाहिए, वो परफेक्शन स्टेज टीचर वाला नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि जैसे सास भी कभी बहू थी वैसे टीचर भी कभी स्टूडेंट था. तो जब मैं आप लोगों की तरह था तो मुझे थोड़ी ना इतना आता था. ठीक है. तो ये बात बहुत प्रैक्टिकल है, कभी भी टीचर वाला स्टेज लाने की कोशिश नहीं करनी है. गॉट इट? वो आएगा भी नहीं. उस परफेक्शन की तरफ जाओगे तो फिर दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स की तैयारी अफेक्ट हो जाएगी. ठीक है. इन्फॉर्मेशंस को इतनी बार पढ़ना है कि आप उसका यूज कर सको एग्जाम में. दिस इज द ओनली रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द एग्जाम. गॉट इट? ओके. चलिए फिर मिलते हैं दूसरी क्लास में, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री क्लास में. ठीक है. थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू. वेलकम.